Hey y'all, I am running behind like always, but anyway, probably 8:30 is a better time to start anyway, because people are still dealing with their children right now at 8 o'clock. So I was just trying to get a little bit earlier because we've been running like late, past 10 o'clock or whatever. So I'll wait for you guys to get in here. But tonight, season 2, episode 3 is going to be religion and relationships. So religion and relationships, and so that encompasses a lot. A lot can be said about that. Depending on what your take or your idea on it is, and kind of also where you're at too in your relationship, or whatever. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming in. We'll wait for some more people to join. It's been a little minute since I've seen all of you, but I'm glad to see you guys are here. So tonight, basically the format of the way that this show works is that we have a topic that's suggested to me. It's usually, someone will send me a message in my inbox and say, this is what I want to talk about, or I need to have this conversation, or what do you think about this? So that's sort of where we're at right now. So tonight, again, is going to be religion and relationships. And that can be any kind of relationship. I mean, of course, intimate is usually what people want to talk about on this, forum or whatever, but it can be, as friendships or people that you could hang around with or not, based on religion and preferences and whatnot. So, I'm going to just go ahead and say hello to everybody. If it's your first time, basically what we do, the mission of my show, of course, is to, have the viewership, of course, because I am building a portfolio. I do have a YouTube channel. And I do also go live on Instagram as well. And so basically, by building my portfolio, that will give me an opportunity to, pitch out there for other opportunities. Not necessarily, like a talk show, but other opportunities as well. I do pursue commercial voice work. I do have, quite a library of that. So that's basically what's going on. Hey, Corin. Anybody else want to say hello? Hey, Roderick. How everybody? And Mr. Ricky Ferris. And let's see, Roberto Saldana. And let's see, Thomas Rossi. Did I say that right? Some people I'm meeting for the first time. I did go on and accept some friend requests. I also made this video public. And the reason for that is because I want everybody to be able to watch and share. If you're like, what you saw. And so, hey, Turk, how are you? It's been a long minute, right? So again, tonight, religion and relationships. So who wants to lean in first and tell me what they think, is it important? And we'll start with an intimate relationship. Is it important to you to have a discussion of religion prior to dating someone? If you want to really seriously consider them, would it be important to you that you have a discussion about religion? That's sort of what I'm kind of, that's where we'll start at. That'll be our starting point. But whoever wants to come in on that, I do encourage participation, please, because that does help. I mean, people don't want to watch me just talking. So, if I have some comments, I will be able to respond to that, and we'll be able to share. So, and y'all can talk amongst yourself as well, back and forth. But that's sort of what this is all about. So let me know what your opinion of it is, because basically what I do is collect all of your opinions. Hey, Steven. So I collect all your opinions and whatnot, and then at the end of the show, we kind of do a little wrap up. And then after we do the little wrap up, then I'll give what my opinion is. You know what I mean? Because I'm not trying to sway anybody either way or the other, one way or the other. So that's not my goal. My goal is to get people talking, because sometimes these conversations can be very difficult to have. And so sometimes if you have someone to help initiate that, whether that was a video you saw or a conversation you overheard, something you participated in, a lot of times it's very helpful to you and it's beneficial. And so, to have this conversation. And, a lot of people will say, and this is all I will say, a lot of people will say that, religion is very important to them in relationships, especially something that they're pursuing for the long term. So what do you guys feel about that? And hello, everyone else that's joining. And Turk, thank you, Turk. And Turk says, if God's not involved, you have nothing. Okay. All right. So, I always say that we're equal here. Everybody has, everybody's opinion is just as important as everybody else's opinion. And, we don't, go back and forth with anybody about it. But we are absolutely going to express what we feel and what we think. Because, everybody is different. Everybody has different beliefs or whatever. And so that's why this topic, anything that has to do with religion, politics, those are always difficult conversations to have. But in the intimate realm where you're talking about relationships with people, it's not always that bad. Like, we're not here to debate, right? We're here just to get the conversation started. So whatever the topic is that we're talking about, we're here to get it started. So, help out if we can, help other people. So that makes a good point. So you believe that if God is involved, if God is not involved, you have nothing? Yeah. And Steve says, and that's Spring Branch Steve, everyone. He says, scared for our kids going to school, and God's good, right? That, of course, that's on everybody's, it's the forefront of everybody's mind right now, what's going on in schools. It just seems it's just rampant. It's everywhere, and it's continuing, just to happen more and more closer to, it's just continuing to happen closer and closer to home, right? We're starting to see that now, right? And so we have to try to figure out what our next move is. What are we going to do, you know what I mean, as parents, aunties, uncles, loved ones, to protect the children, right? It's something when the children are bringing guns to school because they're scared and they want to protect themselves. The teachers are not allowed to be armed at this point. And, security is how many security guards do you have in one setting, in one school, right? I'm sure that's amping up now, but it's something that should have already been in place before. Everybody has a different idea about that. But, okay, so anybody else have any input on religion and relationships? Does that play a significant role for you in a relationship when you're considering someone? Even dating, because some people won't even date certain people for certain reasons, right? You might be like, oh, she's beautiful, or oh, he's handsome, but I don't agree with whatever this is or that is. I don't like where he works. I don't like what he represents. So you might even run into a situation where you might not even want to date someone because of their religion, or it might be against your religion, if they're not the same as you. We see a lot of people, a lot of situations, where people have to marry in, to the other religion, drop theirs, drop that. And so a lot of times in intimate situations, it can be a disaster, especially if you're from two different backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and you really fall in love and you love each other, but then your families are not willing to accept that because somebody has to convert or something like that. So tell me what your opinion is. And I am open for more comments. Because again, I might be lovely as all outdoors, but the process is to engage you in a conversation so that I can, have that platform. And listen, while you're watching, I am in Houston. And so anybody who wants to be a guest can come on and be a guest with me. Of course, you can be a guest, right here with me. I'll give you, get you all registered up and get you here with me, and we can talk about different topics. A lot of times, I have guest hosts. I don't have any problem with having actual panel or forum, anything like that on the topic, whatever is appropriate. So let me know if you want to. Another thing too that I've gotten a lot of is requests on, specifically on Instagram. I get a lot of requests about clothing, modeling clothing, clothing lines, specific this or that, representing this and that. Hey, as long as, it's not anything that's, hateful or derogatory towards the people that are in my audience, I'm good with it. I believe in promotion. I go back and forth with everybody. I ask you guys to promote me, and I am selfless in that manner, and I will continue to promote. And anyone who knows me knows that, whether you're a musician, whether you're an artist, whatever you have, you see me back you, whatever your cause is, I'm always there, present, at their beck and call for whatever. So I'm here, and the networking opportunity is here. So also, if you want to, if you have a social statement you want to make, if you're a t-shirt person or if you're a clothing person, as long as it's appropriate and not offensive, you can count me in, and I can provide details of where you can send me, and I can plug you real good on this show, and also on Instagram Live, which is what I'll be doing next. So we don't want to let Instagram show us up, because last week Instagram showed us up, and that's never happened. I usually have a really good, captivating audience. I usually have a real good participation. So without beating that horse to death, let me know what you think about religion and relationships. What about friendships? I came up, I was born Pentecostal. right? And Pentecostals do not baptize babies, right? Because they believe they're without sin, right? Then, you know, as I grew older, I moved from Florida to Houston. I leaned more towards Baptist. So I went Baptist. And then after I had my home church with Baptist, a lot of things changed with me, and it sparked a lot of thought within my mind. I believe you should be absolutely wide awake. So I began to wonder about things for myself, right? So I kind of have went to the point to where I went to non-denominational, and now I'm at the point where, of course, you know, it's a great big old universe. I have my own ideas about this and that. So for me, dating, relationships, and religion, I would say that, you know, in friendships, it's not that big of a deal, unless, you know, you're, you know, for me, you know, there's certain things that I, you know, will go against the grain, but, you know, I believe everyone has an opinion, and I believe that, you know, we can share that amongst each other, and we can conduct ourselves as adults, right? And then as far as a romantic relationship, of course I have my own belief system. I can't be with someone who doesn't believe in anything. Let's just say that. You got to believe in something to have my attention, because you got to be able to have a discussion on the higher level when it comes to me, right? I need to be able to have a discussion about certain things that are topics. So tell me what you think. Hey there, how are you, dear? Glad to see you join. I know you had some, you know, prior commitments, so I'm glad to see that you're here. We got started with this topic, religion and relationships, and so we're talking about that tonight. So far, you know, Turk came in and he said, hey, you know, if you got God, you got nothing. So, you know, that's important to him in a relationship. And we were discussing friendships. Can you be friends with someone who is either not religious or who has a different religious view than you? And how about in an intimate relationship? Is that something that you would just not even date someone if they differed in religion or had an aversion to religion? Where do you stand with that? Definitely open for more comments on that, right? And what you hear playing in the background, if you hear it, is going to be Pandora. And that happened to be the Paperboy station, you know, Diddy, if anybody knows what that song is. So that's what you hear in the background. I have no control over that right now. I don't own the rights to anything, so I will not get in trouble for having it on my show. Okay, so here we go. So Steve says, I remember once I was on a date. She pried over the dinner. It turned to a lot of questions. Where can I start? I was never taught. Right, okay. So that can be an uncomfortable situation when you're on a date with someone and they bring that out, right? I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. You know, that's one of the things that I say. You know, women a lot of times are scared to ask questions. Women a lot of times are scared to have certain discussions because they're worried that they're going to run the man off, right? But this is the thing, you know, if you stand for nothing, if you don't stand for something, then you stand for nothing, right? So you got to have a set of morals, values, and standards. It's like Steve Harvey says, standards, get some, right? Okay? He writes that in his books to women. Standards, get some, right? Because you got to have some kind of standards, you know? Doesn't mean that yours have to be in alignment with other people, because really it doesn't matter, you know, what other people think. So, Steve, it could be difficult when you're on a date with someone that you're, you know, just getting to know, and you ask, hey, what are your views on religion? I can see where that could be a difficult conversation, especially if you know, just kind of bounced around, you know, and just picked up on your own, you know, from friends or family. I mean, because where I used to live at when we were little, before I went, you know, between the Pentecostal time and the Baptist time, there was a church bus that used to come around in the hood, and it would pick us up and take us to church. And I honestly don't even remember what kind of church it was taking us to. But our parents would let us go, and we would get on the bus, and we would go to Sunday school, and we would draw and color pictures of Jesus or whatever, you know, and do whatever, you know, learn the, you know, the commandments and whatnot, you know what I mean? All of that is so... The situation with all of that is that everyone's interpretation is different. So it's hard to say what is right and what is wrong. So I think that you can open up the floor with that conversation. Say, hey, you know what? this is the information that I have acquired. This is what I know, and this is what I believe. I'm willing to grow, or I'm not willing to grow. Hey, you know, we all have our own belief system of what we believe. I, you know, am willing to talk about it at a later time, not on this forum, because that's just strictly religion. And what I'm talking about now is religion relationships. So, Miss Richardson has weighed in, and she said we would need to have the same beliefs. Okay. All right. And then she says, as far as being in a relationship with that person. So, in a relationship with someone, Miss Richardson says that she would have to have the same beliefs as someone, you know, in order to be in a relationship. How about just going on a date with someone? Could you just go on a date with someone if they were a non-believer, or if they didn't believe in anything at all? What if they're a person who just believes in the universe? What if they're a person that just believes, you know, that in the earth and the elements, and, you know, and that, you know, they're just a very earthbound person, or they're, you know, they consider themselves a heavenly body? What would you say about that? And Hector, welcome. And Karen, welcome. It's been a while. And Ashley, welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you for watching and participating. So tonight, I will just reiterate that the topic is religion and relationships. Is that a barrier for you dating someone if their religion is either A, not the same, if they do not have a religion at all, you know, and in some cases, like Stephen brought up a very, very, very good point when he said that, you know, he was on a date, first date. He kind of got nervous because the woman was asking him about religion. And he came from, you know, where he came from, he wasn't really taught a specific religion. He wasn't really socialized that way, so it was uncomfortable for him. Hey, Steve, did you go on another date with her? That's the question. I mean, you said basically, I don't know. And you say, you know, you didn't know because you didn't really have a foundation of religion, a religious foundation. So, I'm sure the conversation continued. So did you go on another date with her, and how did that go? Or did y'all just completely avoid the topic altogether? Because all too often, that's what happens. People completely avoid the topic, I found. Like, women won't talk about certain things on dates at all. Unless they're just like, they know like exactly what their plan is. Because, you know, women have been accused a lot of times of having a specific plan and a timeline. And actually, that's detrimental to them a lot of times. There's nothing wrong with having a specific timeline. But you can't have it so much that it's so stringent that it puts pressure on others, right? Okay, so Miss Richardson says, I wouldn't want to lead anyone on. I'd prefer to date with a purpose. So, yeah, I've heard that. Dating with a purpose. That's something we talked about last week. Dating with a purpose, right? Okay, so not leading someone on, dating with a purpose. You know, let's just put it all on the table right now. What are your expectations? What are mine? Where are we at? Are we on cruise control? Where do you plan to be in a year? Whatever it is. Do you go to church? Would you like to go to church? Do you pray over your food? Would you like to pray for me? You know that can be, you know, I mean, leading into a relationship or a friendship, when you're getting to know someone, what about if you're getting to know someone, you know, and, you know, you want to send them a morning prayer, you know what I mean? Me and Miss Richardson have that, you know, she don't miss a beat, baby. Every day I get my morning prayer, you know, and if I don't get one and something is going on, I'm going to send her one, you know what I mean? We do it every day for each other because that's what we believe. We're like-minded folks, right? So what if you know, are dating a woman or a man, and you want to pray for them, and you want to send them a morning inspiration or a prayer, you know, would you be worried that they would get offended by that sentiment? Some people have a problem with that. Hello, Mr. Rocha. Welcome. Miss Steve says, yeah, they went on another date and they actually became friends, so that's important too. Right? So, you know, how would you feel if, how would you feel if you were dating someone and they said, hey, can I pray for you? Can I send you some morning inspiration, some prayer? Would you allow me to do that? I've been in a situation where I've had a friend, you know, that didn't believe in Christianity, and that's fine, you know. He believed in other things, and he said, hey, you know, I appreciate your prayers, but be careful the prayers that you send for me. Be careful of this. Yes, I believe in God. Absolutely. He said, but my system of beliefs is not necessarily Christianity. So be careful, you know, because I don't believe certain things that you might believe. So be careful that your prayers are intent, and be careful that they're not infringing on what I believe, right? So just be careful of that, right? So I had to learn how to pray for him, you know, and we got really good with it. I gave him his inspiration, and it didn't compromise my belief system either. And actually, me being surrounded by people that believe different things has opened my mind up even more. You know, and it allowed me to even think more, you know what I'm saying? And you should be wide awake. Whatever it takes, you can't just navigate through this world, you know, with your head in the clouds. You have to be awake. It's dangerous if you're not awake. You need to be aware of what's around you. You need to know your history. You need to know the foundations of what these religions were built on. It's very important before you actually say, hey, you know what? This is what I am. This is what you have to be, or else. You know, some people don't believe the same thing that you believe, right? And by the way, what are y'all sipping on? Because I'm sipping on Aloe Glow coconut water. And I didn't even find out if y'all was sipping on something tonight. Are y'all on your PJs too? Because that's what I like for y'all to do. You're viewing from home, right? Enjoy your wind down with me, right? Okay, so hey, Ashley. Ashley, hello. And hello, Gabriel. And if I missed you, hello. And thank you for watching. And please tell me what your opinion is on religion and relationships. How important is that to you? Is it important to you that a person has a religion or a relationship with God, Jesus, Allah? Is it important to you that they have a relationship, some kind of belief system? Or are you okay with it just being what it is? Steve says he's sipping on an orange Bud Light. I'm not a beer girl, but hey, you know, gotta watch that belly, you know, that beer gives you, you know. Blow up, you know. And you can't do that. On camera, you look even bigger than you are, you know, in real life. So what's gonna happen when I have my real show on a network, on a platform, and I have y'all with me? I can't be fat, right? So I can't drink beer. I do drink wine though, and wine can make you fat too because it has a lot of sugar. But anyway, all right. So Karen, thank you so much for weighing in too. And she says hello. And everyone is different. It's God, if God is my choice, it's God in my choice in my eyes. As long as you're living your life with love, kindness, and respect for others, that's what's important to me. So you're saying that they're entitled to have their own beliefs, and you would date them. It's not necessarily pertinent that they have the same system that you have, right? Okay. So that as long as they treat others with kindness, compassion, in a loving way, in a respectful way, so they're not mistreating people, you're good with that, right? Okay. All right. So Steve says, my love handles. Listen, I don't want those. I got enough hips for that. We don't need no love handles around here. That's not what we're doing. That's not, we work out 6 days a week to prevent that type of stuff from happening. We don't want to be no bigger. And we're trying to hold where we are and just keep the tone. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. So listen, I want to say thank you so much for y'all joining me and watching and contributing. I mean, again, the point of it is to get a conversation started. A lot of times, again, it's very difficult for people to, to start conversations. Some people don't know if it's appropriate. Some people are newly dating. Some people are back to dating after, divorces or long-term relationships or commitments, and they really don't know how to go about it. What do you talk about on a first date? What do you do? That's sort of what, they think or whatever, and they wonder, what's going to happen or whatever, like, is it going to be too much for me to ask about religion on the first date? I mean, you honestly, like Miss Richardson said, she's going to date with a purpose. She has a purpose and she has a plan. And so that's what her goal is. She's going to do that. And she's going to want to know off top before she even gives any time to them of her precious time, or before she, even has an inkling that she could waste their time. Right. So, anybody else have any more comments about it? Because if not, I will definitely give my opinion. And then I will do the brief wrap up. And then I'm moving over to Instagram Live, because I promised them I would. And if you follow me there, please come on there with me as well. And you can kind of talk about the topics that we already talked about, the comments that were already made. You can build on that, That's sort of, what it is. That's my platform, is to help others and build my portfolio at the same time, So that's where we're at. I definitely have missed you guys, and I'm so glad for the viewership and participation. I want you to know that. Again, I will represent you as long as you are not offensive or hateful to anyone. So please please share with me any of your, goals, topics, anything that you want to, anything that you want to push, represent. I have people, coming to me with clothing lines, with t-shirt lines, with slogans, with, different agendas, and all of that is fine. As long as it's appropriate and it's not harmful, hurtful, or hateful, you got me right there. I'm always going to promote and help you guys out. So, and welcome, my chitty from Panama City. It's good to see you. And thank you. Okay, and so, Steve says never knew what age to start our kids to understand about religion. I think it's just you. I think it's just what you're comfortable with. I think it's what you're comfortable with, what you're comfortable, how you're comfortable socializing your children. I think that's what's important to you. I mean, everybody, runs their own household, right? That's the thing, whatever your foundations are and whatever your beliefs are, I can say that your children are absolutely your responsibility, and everything that happens to them is in your hands because they look to you for guidance and leadership. So you have a very important job. Being a parent is your number one job when you are a parent. Everything else stops because those small people, they need you. And their formative years are, up to the age of 5, immediately from birth to 5. They're going to absorb what they hear. That's going to register and it's going to resonate with them. And that is what they're going to absorb. That's what they're going to reflect. And that's who they're going to become. So it's never too early. It just depends on what you believe. But again, I say to you that it's important for you to be well knowledged on the things that you believe in. Go back, take some time. Hey, slow and steady. It always wins the race. So go back, start from the beginning. Hey, I have guides, little guides. I have little books. Actually, if I can step away for just a second if y'all allow me. I'm going to show you this guide that I picked up at Half Price Books because I forgot the name of it. But, it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool because it tells you it's like for dummies. It's kind of like that whole series for dummies, different things. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab it and I'll be right back. Oh, and actually I already took it home. All right. Oh, actually, I already took it home, and I'm not at home. I'm here on the set, right? So I'm not home. But it's basically, it's like the idiot's guide to God, basically. And it's just like, that's people's opinion, of course. I mean, you're going to look at who is the author and who is the illustrator and who is all of this. Because there's so many debates about what God is, and there's so many debates about Jesus. There's so many debates about Christianity, and that's really, that's really a whole other topic. Because that one actually can get very nasty and very ugly. It can get very upsetting to people because people believe different things. So really, that's not my goal on this. My goal for this was kind of helping other people out, asking the question or posing, the information. How important is religion in relationships when you're dating or your friendships or when you're going into a long-term commitment? Look, if you're the marrying kind, you know what I mean? You're going to go into the idea or the union of marriage. You're going to want to make sure, again, like Miss Richardson said, you're dating with a purpose, that she wouldn't want to waste anyone's time. So I'll reiterate the whole concept of not wasting time. And I will also say, too, that it's never too early, in a conversation, in a meeting, on a date, to have a discussion about what you believe, and what you need, what your foundation is and what you need, right? Okay, so, and Miss Karen says, yes, ma'am, my dad was Jewish and my mom raised me to believe in Jesus, right? And Steve says, thank you, and of course you're welcome. Okay, so anybody else have any more comments? How important it is for you to discuss religion with someone before going into a relationship or even before dating? How about even socializing on a friendship level with anyone, male, female, the same sex, opposite sex? How important is that? And welcome. I'm going to say that's Mr. Buckley. Welcome. I'm glad for your viewership. And so if you would just let me know what your opinion is. Anybody have any questions for me? Because I'm taking questions first. You can go ahead and ask me any questions you want to about anything. As long as they're not offensive, because we don't do that on here. So any questions you have for me? If there's anything else that you have for me that you don't want to discuss right now, you are welcome to message me. You can inbox me. If you have my cell, you can text me. If you have my email, you can email me. But you absolutely can go on Facebook and send me, a private message. And I will respond to you as long as you're not offensive. And don't be sending me those things that I don't want. Because that's not what the purpose of this show is. You're helping me build my portfolio. Facebook Live is the platform for now. And all of your opinions matter to me. Again, I am in Houston. And I invite anyone, to register with me to come and be a guest. We can promote whatever it is that you're promoting. We can have a discussion about that. I take expert panels. I take opinionated experts, people who believe they're experts, whatever. It's an equal opportunity for everyone. And welcome, Mr. Wimbush. And if you see me reading tiny, like keep squinting, is because I'm on the tablet tonight. Laptop security permission still will not work. So if anybody's a network person or, IT person, please help me with this stupid laptop because it's so much bigger and better. I don't have to squint for next week. And welcome, Omar. So you guys, does anybody have any questions for me before I wrap up? I'll leave it open for a couple of seconds for questions. You're welcome to ask me anything that you need to. You're welcome to suggest topics. I really need you to suggest topics for the next week's episode. Let me know, what your opinion is. Let me know, what you want to talk about. It is Fancy's Let's Talk About It, but I do pick the topics, from most of the time from private messages. So let me know what you think and what you want to know. Yeah, look at my sweetheart. Hello, Miss Davis. 100 reasons to keep it real. So, hey, y'all. So, look, I'm glad that you're on. If you want to make a comment about religion and relationships, is it important or not? In friendships, please make your comment now. If you have any questions for me, please ask them now. Because if not, I'm going to wrap up here in the next few minutes. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'll give you my opinion and we're going to close it out because I'm going to move over to Instagram Live. And it doesn't look like there's any questions. So, okay, so my opinion on relationships. Okay, on the friendship level, relationships and religion. On the friendship level, I really am not going to hang around with anyone that's not like-minded. As far as they have to believe in something. That doesn't mean that they have to believe in exactly what I believe in, because I had already expressed that. I was in a very close friendship with someone that had a different belief system, believed in God, but didn't believe the Bible for exactly the way that it was written, the way that it's interpreted, all of that. So I was in a different situation. And so, of course, that I didn't count the person out because of that, right? I, just got to know them and helped me become more knowledgeable in what they would sit down and talk to me about what they believed. And basically, it was a non-invasive situation where, just kind of laid it out and said, this is what I believe. Hey, you're equipped now. You have eyes to read. You have eyes to see. You have a brain to absorb. You have the knowledge. You can go back and you can find out anything. You can go to a library. You can pick up whatever. Do your research. The World Wide Web is right here for you. So there was no pressure. And hey, Adrian, thank you. Thank you for coming on and watching. So let me know if you have any other questions or opinions while I'm going. And then as far as a romantic relationship, as far as a long-term commitment or relationship, I absolutely would have to know what the person's beliefs are. It's important to me to know what they are, right? Karen had made a good point that just because she was raised one way and socialized one way, and because she believes one thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that she won't date or go into a long-term relationship or even a union with someone of a different background or faith or a belief system, just as long as they are kind and they operate from compassion, love, kindness, and concern and care for others. So that's basically what that is, right? Okay, so I'm sort of the same person. I sort of believe the same thing, right? And I honestly want to say, ladies and gentlemen, that there is no time too early to have this discussion. If you're going to be involved in a dating situation, first date is fine. You're going to keep it light. You don't have to be like so super invasive or like so aggressive about it. But you can ask. There's nothing wrong with asking the questions that you want to know. Again, like Miss Richardson says, dating with a purpose. She doesn't want to waste anybody's time, right? Okay. All right. So that's what I believe. So that's how I feel. So, anybody have anything else before we close out? If not, I want to say thank you again. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram at Hey Miss Hayes. That's Hey with 6 Y's _ MS _ Hayes, HAYES. I will be going live there now, momentarily. And I'll see you guys next week. Please private message me, text me, email me, whatever mode of communication you have. Please go ahead and, get with me and let me know what your topic of choice is. Also, let me know if you want to be a guest. Also, let me know what it is you're promoting. I'll be happy to do that. Whatever it is that you want to know. Ask me questions, anything else that you didn't understand, advice, whatever. I'm not an expert, but I am here to help you get the conversation started. That's what Fancy's Let's Talk About It is all about. And if I have been able to do that for you, if I've been able to help you articulate your words, your thoughts, serve as a resource to say, hey, I was watching this, hey, I heard this, hey, there was a discussion, then hey, my mission has been accomplished. So, there's always little time to be fancy, and that's me. And I appreciate you guys, and I will see some of you on IG Live now, momentarily. And the rest of you, I'll see you next week. So thank you. See y'all.